Well, to start this project, I went to Michael's and got a few things, popsicle sticks to use for my hardwood floor. Um, just sort of cut them so that they go zigzag, similar to brick, so that you get the hardwood effect. And once I did that, I painted it solid black. Um, I actually put these down on some foam board, and then I painted them solid black. After that, I use a dry brush technique where you take a lighter color, in this instance, and you don't put much paint at all on, because you don't want to coat what's underneath it. You just want to dry brush it on to give texture, especially where you have cracks. If you have cracks, dry brushing really brings out those areas where you have cracks. And you go over this process several times. I'm starting with a light gray. I want sort of a semi-brownish, much lighter look than this. So each time that I go back over with the dry brush, I go back over with a lighter coat until I'm satisfied that it sort of have the texture aged old hardwood floor in an old, maybe non-living abandoned type building um, that I'm looking for this particular scene from the movie It. Once I got finished, I thought I had pretty much the look I wanted for the floor. And this wasn't going to be a very big diorama. Um, I bought about an 8-inch tall Pennywise figure, and I wanted to have something nice to display it in. So now I took the foam board for the back wall and I drew out the base slats. This particular wall was going to have a 1/3 lower slats, wood slats, like they used to have in old houses. And I just drew them out, and then I imprinted them with a knife, a butter knife, and I painted it blue. I assembled the wall together. I skipped a lot of this process, but this is what the front wall looked like. And I used flat dowel square sticks to do all my framing. The upper part of it that you would actually see that sort of looked like wallpaper uh, was actually a photo of a paisley print that I put in Photoshop, dirtied it up, roughed it up, added some color and texture to it to make it look like old wallpaper from an old house that maybe no one lived in. And I had that printed almost with a semi-gloss side, so it would give the impression of aged wallpaper. And once I got finished with my front panel, it's pretty much what it looked like. Wallpaper top with the blue slat bottom, stains all throughout, sort of give it that aged look. And then I started working on the back wall. The back wall I put in also some square dowels on another piece of foam board to make it look like there were 2x4s, because I was going to tear off part of the front wall to expose a little of the 2x4 on each side. So I didn't have to put full length 2x4s, only partial. And once I tore the pieces off of the front part of my wall, I used a match to apply some heat to the edges to give it a dark effect. It wasn't just burning the edges, but it also gave it some color, gave the wallpaper a little deeper color on the edges. And then even after the fire went out, I used the charcoal that was still left on the match, because charcoal is great for creating smudges and giving it age and making it look old. So I not only burned the edges, but I did use the charcoal to paint and draw in different areas. I wanted there to be some holes in this wall. I saw a diorama like it and I really like it, so I cut little areas, make it look like, the house had been there for a long time. This wall had been there, and of course it got damaged and no one ever repaired because it was abandoned. No telling, people went in the house and did things, broke things. So you wanted to have that old look. And then of course I applied some heat because I don't want to look like a fresh cut that I just did in some foam board. I needed to look like an aged piece of hole in the wall that has been created. And then once I got a little deep color, I could then rub it out and make it look like it naturally occurred. make it look like it naturally occurred. And again, I went back to taking my charcoal, smudging my charcoal in several places. I did some on the lower blue. I even did smudging on the white because I just painted the baseboard and the door frames, and I didn't want the door frames to look like it was a new house. So I drew with the charcoal from the matches I used, and I smudged that up too. After that, I pretty much had my front, back wall, and my floor ready to go. I had them ready to go. Uh, After that, I had to work on the door, and the door was probably one of the biggest challenges because I wanted it to be a panel door. So I had to cut deep into some foam board and then try to create bevels in certain places and then put cardboard on top. But once I painted it and put it in place, I think it came out pretty good. Here's the finished product. There was a lot of other things that were done to it, um, but I think it came out pretty good. I added the posters, the dairy mat, the rug, blood on the floor. Outside, I just grabbed some leaves, crumpled them up till they were real small, dropped them in, and I put my Pennywise figure in. And all in all, I think it's an excellent effect. It was what I was looking for, what I was going for, to display this particular figurine. Um, it added a lot to it. The figure is by the company NECA, does excellent detail work in creating theatrical figures from movies. So there it is, my version